Hello, people. This has gone Spy, the Spy, and yeah, I am still holed up where I am in a town where it's right near to where my college is at. So, yeah, I'm not back at Hexagon. If you guys are probably wondering if I'm going to make a return this weekend. There's the final exams coming up that I need to be studying for, and the fact that that's going to be at the end of my second semester. But don't worry, if I'm lucky, I'm going to be able to pass through those final exams. In other words, if I do this, I'll be able to pass that second semester. How long I'm going to be in that college is going to reach to my second year. It's not exactly a second past year, it's been in a past 1 year. And the last semester was with 4 classes, so between that, I've been having to deal with criminal justice online to be able to do a lot of work, which is my favorite subject, by the way. And as for the English writing, is also something where I have to go to college to attend those classes, and I've been making a good progress so far. And now I just need to study for my English writing class. But before then, I had to study for my final exam for criminal justice. I had to do that from a computer, which is how the routine of the college has been going on. And another thing is that, yeah, it's going to be tomorrow, Saturday morning. As soon as my helper is going to be available, she is going to be able to help me out a few things before I take on that test and of that final exam in criminal justice. But that's enough of that for now. For now, I just put up this video just to get a look at this. Yep. This, people, is the case. Contains of 2 decks. I bought that since Target a couple of weeks ago. I was quite curious about it, but I pay good money for it, and yeah, it's quite worth money actually. This here stores up 2 decks that you want to put in, so F. Okay, hang on there. Okay, here we go. Right here is where you'll be able to contain 2 decks of which you be able to have 2 decks that could be out of the top of your favorite decks that you've recently been using. And this case here contains of 2 decks. One of them is I'm about to reveal to you, and there's my sensor here. Hold on a second. I'm not sure if you guys be able to see that. Okay. Alright, there you go. Now I'll be able to reveal to you my... As you've remembered, I did a video of the deck recipe of my best shadow deck, and now I'm going to reveal to you my other deck recipe. Don't worry, I'll be able to fix that up. See, right there. This deck right here is called the Shining Blue Moon deck, and I will give you the reason why. It's the evolved version of the Blue Eyes White Dragons. I've got set up. It's not exactly perfect. It's not exactly what it is in. the Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, but this is the best one I could come with for the moment before I had to go out to Target to buy some cards for this deck particularly. So let's get on with this. So the top card is Staunch Defender. So if your opponent declares the attack of one of your monsters, that you can switch the target to a monster that your opponent has to attack. So yeah. House of the Dragon Souls. This is one of my favorite traps. It's a continuous trap card, by the way. Knows the symbol. And while it's face up on the field, you can banish one Dragon type monster that's in your graveyard to up a notch one of your monster's tap points until the end of the turn. However, if this gets destroyed, you can special summon a Dragon type monster that's in your banish zone. It's summoned straight to the field. Like I said, it's a pretty good card. Gotta time that, however, when you use it. And this one is the Return of the Dragon Lords. A good revival card and a good defending card. I'll get to the details. The Return of the Dragon Lord is that you'll be able to revive once level 7 or level 8 dragon monster that's in your graveyard and summon it straight to your field. And while it's in your graveyard, if your opponent would destroy a dragon that's on your field, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then to protect your monster. Alright. Protector Reviser Blue. And while this card is no summon, you can be able to special summon level 1 light tuner monster that's in your hand. You can also target one effect monster that you control to send to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one blue ice monster from your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. Quite a handy ability. And this is Wabakuda, basically a trap card, but I'll get to it. This protects your monster from being destroyed in battle until the turn is over. And also protect your life points too. Chaos Form, a ritual spell card. It's like a ritual spell card, just sacrifice some monsters to add up the levels to ritual summon, but this one, if you can banish one blue ice monster, you can ritual summon your Chaos Max Dragon. Soul Exchange. Now, when you activate this card, you target one opponent's monster and can use that for tributes, and it only works for. And you cannot conduct your battle phase if you activate this card, by the way. Death. Alright, hang on a second, folks. Dragon's Fine Spirit. You'll be able to target the dragon monster that you control and special summon it this turn, and for each monster your opponent currently currently controls that's special summon this turn, it gains one additional attack for each battle phase. Pretty good card. Lady of D. Okay. This is the opposite of the Lord of D, so. But there's one thing for certain is that your opponent cannot target any face-up dragon monsters you got control except for this one. If this card on the field would be destroyed by battle or by a card effect, you can send one dragon type monster from your hand to the graveyard instead. So that's how you protect it. Spirit Dragon. Definitely know this one. So it does piercing damage when it attacks opponent's defense monster, and once it does attack, it automatically switches to a defense mode after the damage step. Alright, for the Summoning Dragons. And when you have a Lord of D on your field, you can special summon the dragon 2 dragon type monsters that your hand is summoned straight to your field. That's if you have Lord of D, which I do. As long as this card remains on the field, all Dragon-type monsters you control cannot be targeted by spell cards, traps, or even monster effects that it targets. Handy card. Alright. Moving on to the next. Okay, traded. Discards the level 8 monster, and you'll be able to draw 2 cards. Swing of Memories. This revives a monster from your graveyard and is destroyed at the end of the phase. So you're going to have to make that spell card count. And Dispel. And you target one magic card on either field that it wants and flip it up, or when it faces down. If it's a magic card, it destroys it. If not, that sets it back down later. And this card is not going to be activated. And that flip is not going to be activated, by the way. Draconic Tactics. Tribute out to Dragon-type monsters that's on your field, and it's supposed to summon level 1, level 8 Dragon monster that's in your deck. A good card. Alright. When beat up Giant Dragon, so what? Returning level 5 or higher Giant monster that you got control on your. And return to your hand. If you do, destroying all the spells and traps on either player's fields. Gotta make that spell count too. Monster Reborn. And to revive a monster that either player's graveyard. Statement Destruction card. If you control a Dragon-type monster, then destroy one spawn trap card on the field. And if you do, inflict the end of 500 points of damage to its controller. Burst Statement Destruction. This was a handy card for Blue Eyes. And if you control a Blue Eyes Red Dragon on your field, destroying all the monsters your opponent controls, the Blue Eyes Red Dragon cannot attack on the activation of this card. A Pendulum Monster. Yeah, so like I said, unlike the one in Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist, this one contains some Pendulum Monsters. So this one is a Pendulum Monster sent into the Pendulum Scale. And once it's in the Pendulum Scale, at the end phase, destroy this card, which sends it to the extra deck. And if you do, search for a Pendulum Monster, 15,000 or less attack points to your hand. And if this monster destroys a monster in battle, inflicts damage to you, double that damage to your opponent. Pretty cool effect. Alright, Card of Demise. You'll be able to. Well, the anime effect won't be doing good, so I'll just go on. You'll be able to draw to your 3 cards, and after the turn, it's go to the graveyard. Your opponent will not be taking any damage during the end phase of this turn, and you'll be sending your entire hand to the graveyard. You can only activate Card of Demise, and you cannot special summon during the turn you activate this card. Yeah, I dropped that card. Alright, reload card. It's equipped by a spell, so add all the cards that's in your hand, put it back to your deck to shuffle and draw that added cards you added to your deck. Draw those many cards. Alright, Priestess of Fires of Blue. During either player's turn, if a card or an effect that targets this card face up, you can send one effect monster from your control to the graveyard. And if you do, add up 2 Blue Eyes monsters with different names from your deck to your hand. If this card is in your graveyard, you could target your Blue Eyes Red Dragon that you got in control, shuffle it to the deck. And if you do, special summon this card from the graveyard. Good effect. Gotta use wisely. Grey Wing. You can be able to discard using this effect, you can discard a card from your hand, and this card can attack twice. Only for a turn. Alright folks, we'll be coming back until after these messages.